Hello folks, and listen, I don't typically like to do this, but most channels already do, so I figure I might as well start. If you enjoy the content that we deliver here at Speed Station and you want to try helping out, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment if you want. All of this helps our channel grow tremendously, especially with the metrics. And I can't put to words how grateful I am for the support that we already receive. It's kept us going this long, and it will keep us going well into the future. And if you're really feeling generous, we have an active Patreon and PayPal donation page up if you would like to give this channel a monetary boost, which would be tremendously appreciated, and continue to further our efforts into the future. One more thing. If you think that I'm just sitting around during the time in between the videos here on Speed Station, you couldn't be more wrong. Join the Discord. All these links, by the way, are in the description. Check out behind-the-scenes activity and get a better idea of what I'm working on during day-to-day operations on our Discord server. Get to talk directly with me as well, because I'm always active on that thing. That's how I spend my time in between. So, just to reiterate, we tremendously appreciate the amount of support that we've gotten already. And we'd like to see this channel continue to grow and be able to deliver even better content into the future. Anyways, let's get into the actual video here, since I've wasted enough of your time already.
It's the most powerful show on television. High drama, with intense energy. A show dedicated to a few brave souls who risk their lives for the sake of their craft. Its in-depth reporting goes to the core and unlocks the mysteries behind today's raciest sport. Motorsports. Catch it when you can.
Speed Station welcomes you to the Daytona Beach and Road Course for the running of the inaugural Sunoco 160. In the race analysis, today's event will take place over the course of 39 laps around this 4.1-mile beach and road course here in Daytona Beach, Florida, with stage number 1 coming to its conclusion on lap number 13 and stage 2 meeting its end on lap 26. That means the stages are perfectly split up into thirds. And keep in mind that this is the first time that NASCAR has taken on these famous sands since 1958, when Paul Goldsmith took the victory here in what was then a Grand National event in one of Smokey Yunick's cars. Now, here in the year 2021, 63 years later, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series take on the facility for the very first time, and it's going to present a lot of unique challenges for these competitors. 2-mile straightaways, tenth of a mile turns. So the setup on one of these trucks is very, very unique. Typically, for a track such as Daytona International Speedway and Talladega Superspeedway, you set the vehicle up for an aero-type race. You're really only focusing on straight-line speed. Well, a track like this, one straightaway is the length of a full lap at Michigan, but the turns are sand and are only a tenth of a mile in length. So it turns into a sudden Martinsville plus dirt track characteristics. So it's very difficult to set up your truck for a race here, because you're going for that aerodynamic advantage down the 2-mile straightaways, but then once you get into the turns, well, you got to make sure that at the very least the front end of the truck is up off the ground, because you will rip off that splitter pan if you put it down too low. Certain teams have showed up with setups designed more towards the dirt track style racing that you'll see here. A lot of emphasis on how the truck makes its way through the corners, yet certain teams have set up their trucks to where they're more designed for straight line speed, because when you think about it, vast majority of the racetrack is just in a straight line. So many teams, in fact the majority, have showed up set up for simply the straight line speed. More or less flat-footed down the 2-mile straights and hope the thing sticks in the corners. The length of this racetrack also is going to modify the pit strategy quite a bit. Obviously, the stages are split up into thirds with 13 laps apiece, which is pretty simple to wrap your head around. However, this racetrack is 4.1 miles in length, a tremendously long lap distance. And because of that, we will be using quickie yellows throughout the course of today's event. Only 2 laps under caution for each and every caution. We are not getting a typical 4 or more lap caution flag period. Every single caution will last for just 2 laps. Quickie yellows, much like we see on a traditional road course. And after all, this is technically a street circuit, even though it is configured like an oval. And because of the length of the racetrack and the positioning of the pit road, which is actually on the beach straight, which is the back straight, opposite of where the start-finish line is, well, under the second lap under the caution flag period, to try and maximize some of the fuel that they can save for the finish of this race, certain teams might just come down pit road for a second time with the pace truck and top off for fuel, because the way you can cycle out at this racetrack, if you come down pit road on the second lap under caution with the pace truck while the rest of the field is ready to take the green flag, when you come off pit road with just a fuel-only stop, you'll more or less come out at the tail end of the field, which you would have been already. So it's really not that much of a detriment to pit with the pace truck. So we will likely see a lot of strategy going on over the course of this 160-mile race of when to come down pit road. Odds are a lot of the teams will opt to come down pit road on the first lap under the caution flag period, which is when you're supposed to come down pit road. That's when you're going to get the full fuel tank and 4 tires along with it. However, that second lap, when the pace truck comes down pit road and we're ready to take the green flag on the start of the next lap, expect quite a few teams to come down pit road and try and top off on fuel, get a 4.1 mile advantage on their fuel mileage. It's a very big deal and very unique of the way this racetrack is constructed, that you can pit with the pace truck and actually pull off an advantage out of it. It sacrifices a little bit of track position, but obviously this racetrack is so gigantic, it's not like you could fall a lap down. So you're actually in a better fuel position if you pit the very same lap that the field will take the green flag. Also, given the fact that this is a street circuit, street and beach circuit, there will not be any overtimes in today's event, mainly due to the fact that we're competing with 2 things: city ordinances and high tide. In fact, back in 1956, the Grand National event at the Daytona Beach and Road Course had to be shortened 2 laps due to an incoming high tide. So we don't want to have to be battling the elements here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. So NASCAR is playing it safe. 39 laps. We will complete the advertised distance, but we will not go into overtime, mainly due to the fact that it takes a lot of moving components to try and close off a large portion of roads and a big portion of Daytona Beach at the same time. So unfortunately, no overtime finishes are possible here at Daytona Beach, but it's not like it makes that much of a difference anyway, considering we are only allotted 1 attempt maximum after the debacle, I guess you could say, that we had at Memphis in the Camping World Truck Series anyway. So we will only be completing the advertised distance of 39 laps here at Daytona Beach. No green-white checkers. There's also quite a few ringers in today's event, including names such as Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, and Ryan Newman, as this is the final race of the Camping World Truck Series season that Cup Series competitors can participate in. Obviously, next race is Daytona International Speedway, final race of the regular season. They can't be in that, and they're also not allowed to race in the 10 playoff races. The drivers who are allowed, however, to participate in the next 10 races, with the exception of the championship race, are Xfinity Series drivers. They can run at Daytona all the way out to the penultimate race at Talladega Superspeedway. However, they are not allowed to run the championship race at Atlanta. You'll have to be Truck Series or below to run at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the championship race, which is why there are so many Cup Series regulars out here to run in the inaugural Sunoco 160, and also the prestige of having an opportunity of winning at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. No drivers since Paul Goldsmith in 1958 has said that they have won here, at least in the oval configuration. They did run some of the measured mile events here all the way up until 1960, but the final oval race was held in 1958, won by Paul Goldsmith. The drivers in this field here today in the Camping World Truck Series want the opportunity to be up there with such legendary names. And finally, there is just 2 races left in the regular season in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, right here at Daytona Beach, and then we move just a couple more miles inland to Daytona International Speedway to settle the regular season. So time is running out if you're one of those bubble drivers who is contending for a spot in the 16 truck playoffs in the 2021 season. And your regular season point standings following the Truck Series' first ever visit to Myrtle Beach Speedway in the Myrtle Beach 200. Matt Crafton, Mr. Consistency, still holds the point lead by now just 15 points above his teammate Grant Enfinger. Picked up 2 spots at Myrtle Beach. Very tight margin in that regular season championship battle. As you look farther back, Sheldon Creed lost a spot out at Myrtle Beach down to 3rd. He has 22 points out of the point lead. Ben Rhodes lost a spot as well to 4th in regular season points, 31 points out of the point lead. We'll look at your top 4. only separated by 31 points coming into the final 2 races of the regular season. That makes this a championship 4 mathematically for that regular season championship, with just the race here at Daytona Beach and at Daytona International Speedway left on the season. We got a tremendous battle on our hands between 3 ThorSport trucks and 1 GMS racing truck. 5th in points and starting the trucks that are outside of current mathematical contention for the regular season championship, we have Ty Dillon, who is 57 points out of the point lead. Timothy Peters then in 6th, 58 points out. Parker Kligerman in 7th for Henderson Motorsports, still getting a great run there. 70 points out of the point lead. Ty Gibbs in 8th position, 72 points out of the lead. Christian Eckes in 9th, 90 points out of the point lead. And Brett Holmes finishing 2nd position at Myrtle Beach, picked up 4 spots in points to 10th, 98 points out of the point lead. And in your playoff standings, after we had an upset winner with TJ Bell taking home the victory after 19 years of trying in the Camping World Truck Series, Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes, Austin Hill, Stuart Friesen, Grant Enfinger, Sheldon Creed, Timothy Peters, Ty Gibbs, Casey Mears, Ryan Truex, Dawson Cram, and Brennan Poole are so far the drivers who are locked in via their wins this season. Obviously, we're going to have at least 1 spot in the playoffs, which will be scored by a driver through points only. Because we have just 2 races left, 13 winners for 16 spots. We can only at max have 15 winners locked into the playoffs, so we will have at least 1 truck make it in through points. Right now, Ty Dillon sets best of the rest, 62 points above that cutoff line. Parker Kligerman sets 49 points above. Both Dillon and Kligerman have a 1-race margin above the line. Brett Holmes, with his runner-up finish, went all the way from outside the top 16 to now inside the top 16 by 21 points. The first truck currently making the playoffs. Then we have Ty Majeski setting on the outside, looking in by those 21 points. Austin Terrio in the number 92 for Brad Keselowski Racing. He sets 30 points on the outside looking in. John Hunter Nemechek was really hurt by his multi-race suspension because of that run-in he had at the Milwaukee Mile. He is certainly in a must-win scenario here at Daytona Beach and also at the Daytona International Speedway. It's a tall order to have to win your way into the playoffs, but John Hunter Nemechek has to score a victory in the next 2 races to do it. Same situation for the defending Rookie of the Year award winner, Zane Smith, in the number 21 truck. He is 86 points out of making the playoffs presently. Hello everyone, welcome back to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series ride-along segment. We are back in the test truck, prepping for the inaugural Sunoco 160 from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. First time the truckers have ever taken on this famed facility. Coming off of pit road, the access road you can see right there, the flags that mark the start-finish line. Gun it coming off the sand and onto the highway. This is a very difficult track to try and get right, because I tell you what, the straightaways being 2 miles in length, you almost forget there's a turn coming up, because you're in the heat of the moment, you're drafting with everybody running around, coming down one of these tight corners. You miss your mark, you'll end up in the tire barriers very, very quickly. This racetrack was put up in a rather quick span of time and done very well. See on my right side, you see those holes with the flags on them? That marks your braking zone. And you got downshift, much like a road course, from 4th all the way down to 2nd gear. Then you lay the truck down into the sand and sling it out, much like you're at a dirt track. Back up to 3rd gear, right up by the guardrail. Right out 3rd gear right here. Wait for it. And right there, we'll back up into 4th. You see all the billboards to our right, all the boats out in the Atlantic. Palm trees everywhere, cranes. It's our TV cameras. A lot of support going into this event, in particular from Sunoco sponsoring it, putting up a whole gas station near the area. Big marketing opportunity. Right down here at the end of the beach straight, you see the flags once again. Got to get on the brake pedal, downshift to 3rd, downshift to 2nd, and lay the thing into the corner like it's a dirt track. Once again, you see the Sunoco tire barriers out there. That's a safety protection. They couldn't get safer barriers in here, obviously, because it's a street circuit. It's just not enough time, so tire barriers. Hard to apply the throttle as we now take a green flag for a mock run. It's really hard to put down your right foot coming off of what was the north turn right there. This track, by the way, only has 2 corners, north and south. They're so tight, there's really no distinction between, typically there's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just 1 and 2. But going off the sand and onto the asphalt, very hard to keep them rear tires from spinning. As we now come down the long front stretch, you see the brake zone once again. Downshift to 3rd gear. Very tight braking zone. You're on the asphalt right here. Not as easy to slow down on the asphalt because the sand kind of slows down your truck for you. Sliding it out right there. See, we just passed the lighthouse. Once again, sliding out towards the guardrail. This is a very highly anticipated event, and I tell you, the scenery around this racetrack is magnificent. Unlike any other racetrack we've ever been to, this is in fact the first ever street circuit in Camping World Truck Series history. We've never been to one ever before, and I'll tell you what, we are definitely making a splash with our first ever street circuit coming at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. You can see all the buildings out towards, the inland portion, and all the boats out in the Atlantic. It's a perfect site for NASCAR Camping World Truck Series action. Once again, hard braking zone up into the north turn, down to 3rd gear, down to 2nd. Obviously the sand slows your truck down a little bit for you, but here's where it gets difficult. Coming onto the asphalt, it's actually a little bit less traction. Gotta have a really good mind of getting the power down right there without spinning the rear tires. You can really eat up your rear tires here because remember, your tires are treaded. It's a lot like running rain tires in the dry once you're on the asphalt. In the sand, it's not so bad. It's essentially Goodyear's dirt racing tire, but it does not like asphalt very much, so it's a bit of a compromise, and I commend Goodyear for the job that they did on bringing a tire to suit this racetrack, because it is definitely a tall order. Once again, we're going to head down to the south turn just to show off a little bit of a different aspect coming off of the south turn compared to the north turn. Once again, tough braking zone. Got to make sure you don't lock up the front tires. It's a lot easier to do into the south turn than it is into the north turn because you got the asphalt to contend with. Take a bit of a wider entry into the corner, and right here, you see you can get the power down a lot easier. You can just kind of mash it up into the loose sand because it's not nearly as hard to get the power down coming onto the sand as it is on the asphalt. Once again, the sensation of speed at this racetrack. You're traveling at over 180 miles an hour down the straights, down about 60-something mid-corner. Tremendous difference, draft racing on the straightaways, dirt racing mid-corner. Something we've never seen in Camping World Truck Series competition in the series history. Expect even tandem racing down the beach straight. But once you get off into the corners, it turns into a full-on dirt race like what we saw earlier this season in the Corn Belt 150 at Knoxville Raceway. Taking a very hard charge into this braking zone right here because you can really send it into the north turn. But coming off is where you really lose a lot of traction getting onto this asphalt with a lot of sand all over it. And there's a few laps around the Daytona Beach and Road Course. It's going to be an event unlike any other in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series for the inaugural Sunoco 160, folks. Get ready for something that you've certainly never seen before. Ty Gibbs, the winner at Talladega Superspeedway earlier this season, comes out to Daytona Beach and Road Course and scores the pole for the inaugural Sunoco 160 here on the sands of Daytona Beach, Florida. And the man that he bested was Parker Kligerman by just 1/1000th of a second. Kligerman qualifies in second position for Henderson Motorsports. Still would have wished he got the pole, but still a very honorable starting position for that number 75 team. The 51 truck of Daniel Hemrick making his first start since the Nashville Superspeedway earlier this year. He qualifies in third spot, just 5/1000ths of a second off the pole time as well. Ben Rhodes, who's contending for that regular season championship, qualified in fourth position. Max McLaughlin in the 61 truck for Hattori Racing Enterprises, qualified in fifth spot. He is not running full time, however he is running majority of the schedule to end the season. He's doing a very good job in that number 61 truck. He seems to be the top candidate for the 16 full-time next season. Timothy Peters still continuing his fantastic season for Nemco Motorsports, leading the Ford Brigade. Qualifies in 6th position in the number 87 truck. Kyle Larson making his final Truck Series start of the season. Qualifies his very own number 17 truck in 7th position. Michael Self in the 25 for Rackley WAR qualifies in 8th spot. Regular season point leader Matt Crafton qualifies in 9th position. And his teammate Johnny Sauter, who notoriously dislikes any racetracks that are not asphalt or concrete, guess what? He comes out here to run the asphalt sand hybrid of Daytona, and he qualifies in 10th position. Great job in qualifying for the 13 team of Johnny Sauter. They've had a very inconsistent season, and they're hoping to potentially win their way in to the playoffs here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Other notable qualifiers include Trevor Bain in the 44 truck starting 13th, Tony Breidinger in 15th position, getting a great run in that 02 truck for Young's Motorsports. Ryan Newman qualifying his number 39 truck in 22nd position, Haley Deegan qualifying in 25th spot, Sam Mayer in 27th, and Sheldon Creed, who's in a bit of a free fall in regular season points. He qualified all the way down in 34th position. So you have to keep your eyes on that number 2 truck and see if he can make his way through the field over the course of these 39 laps here in the Sunoco 160. The number 23 truck of Brett Holmes did not make the show here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Obviously, with his second place finish at Myrtle Beach, he now holds a 21-point advantage above the cutoff line. Ty Majeski and Austin Terrio right now are right behind him in playoff points. So Majeski and Terrio both did make the Sunoco 160, so with Brett Holmes being out of it, keep your eyes on the number 92 and 55 trucks to see if they can, in fact, capitalize on the number 23 truck failing to make this inaugural event here at Daytona. And so now let's get down trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Get a rhythm. Get ready to rock and roll today. It's a long race. There will be a lot of pit stops. So just go out there, do what you got to do. No mistakes. That's the big thing today. Just no mistakes.
And so now the pace truck is ducked onto pit road. A very long pit road at this facility. The field now paces by themselves through the north turn and onto the front straightaway. Ty Gibbs, your pole sitter, pacing the entire Camping World Truck Series field in front of a sold-out crowd here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, and this facility's return of more than 100,000 spectators. All here to watch the truckers do battle on this, a NASCAR Cup Series off weekend. The second to last race of the regular season is about to get underway as the field heads through the north turn. Flagman has the green flag in hand. Ty Gibbs leads the field onto the front straightaway. And there is the green flag for the inaugural Sunoco 160 from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. The field already fanning out as Ty Gibbs has lost the assistance of his teammate Daniel Hemrick in the number 51 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports. The inside line loses organization, but the outside line gains it, as now there's tandeming almost between Ben Rhodes and Parker Kligerman, as Kligerman now rockets out to the race lead. 18 trucks starting to drop back. 99 up on the outside as there's contact in the back. Newman and Will Rogers carry each other up into the outside while we stay green as the field heads down into the south turn for the first time. Ben Rhodes has cleared the 75 truck as Kligerman went down to the inside to work with the 18 and ended up hurting him as there was contact farther back. I don't believe anybody got up into the tire barriers, but it was still a dicey moment. The 99 truck of Ben Rhodes gets the advantage, coming off of the south turn and onto the beach straight for the first time. It's been a full 63 years since there have been race cars running down this beach straightaway, now in the form of super trucks, taking on the Daytona Beach and Road Courses. There's blocking going on towards the front. Ben Rhodes trying to close the door on the 87 truck of Timothy Peters as Peters gets a push from Michael Self. And here's a quick look at the contact between the 40 and 39 trucks. Will Rogers tries to get in line behind the 38 of Todd Gilliland. He actually clips Gilliland up into the 60 of Casey Mears. And he also chops across the nose of the 39 truck of Ryan Newman. A great job by Mears, by the way, to not lose it right there. Keeps that truck going in the right direction, but a lot of front-end damage on the 40 truck of Lou Rogers, being carried up into the outside wall with the 39 of Ryan Newman. And here was another near crash that we had entering the south turn, once again involving the 38 of Todd Gillen. He gets clipped by the 52 of Stuart Friesen and almost gets put up into the Sunoco tire barriers. In fact, makes a little bit of contact with those tire barriers with his right side. It looks like very minimal damage on the 38 of Todd Gillen. But now we've still got the ongoing battle between the 87 and 99 trucks of Timothy Peters and Ben Rhodes. Peters up on the outside, getting some help from Michael Self as the field fans out. 4 wide, now almost 5 wide, into the north turn. Johnny Sauter using up every inch of the racetrack. Look at the field fan out to lead the first lap in Camping World Truck Series competition at the Beach and Road course. It is Ben Rhodes. All the way up on the sand, edging out the 75 and 18 trucks at the start-finish line. Now down the long front straightaway, we have the 75 truck pushing the 99 in a tandem-like fashion down into the south turn. Hard braking zone right here, decelerating from about 185 miles an hour down to about 63 in the middle of the south turn. A little bit of contact right there. Got the 55 truck going sideways off the bumper of the 13 of Johnny Sauter. He managed to catch it. A very impressive job by Majeski to not lose that truck. We got a side-by-side battle for the top spot now down the beach straight. It's very critical to try and get a good launch coming off these corners. You got 2 miles of straightaway to deal with, and if you don't get a good launch, you lose all your momentum down about half of the racetrack. As the field flies by, the number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes getting forced out of line. A lot of organization up on the top as the 25, 87, and 75 trucks work together. But now, here comes the 51 behind the 99. Pack racing out in front of the field here at Daytona, as now the field fans out once again into the north turn. Almost trouble in the back as there was contact between Haley Deegan and Scott Legacy Jr. in the 03 truck for On Point Motorsports. Look at this field fan out once again. 4 wide. Coming back to the start-finish line at the stripe, it was Peters to lead the lap. An incredible charge through the middle of the racetrack. Timothy Peters presently holds the race lead. Back through the gears right there. You heard him shift up into 4th gear. Everybody trying to find a drafting partner right now down the front stretch. It looks like once again Ben Rhodes is going to get left out of line, this time by his teammate Matt Crafton, who instead got some help from the 51 of Daniel Hemrick. Now here comes Crafton making the look to the inside of Timothy Peters. There's a bit of history between those two. 3 wide for second. Who's going to get the dive into turn number 1? Daniel Hemrick inching up against the 87. Peters taking a very wide lane as Crafton trying to make it 3 wide for the top spot. Coming off of the south turn, the 87 truck is going to have the most drafting help onto the beach straight. He has Ty Gibbs running in line. Can the KBM trucks of Daniel Hemrick and Ty Gibbs get lined up? But right now, 18 truck shoves the 87 out front. Peters still controlling a slightly comfortable lead right now as the field snakes down the beach straightaway, trying to break the draft. Right now, the 75 and 18 trucks are working together as Ty Gibbs jumps up to the outside of the 87. Now the 51 works with the 87 truck, and look at this run that Kligerman is getting with the 18 of Ty Gibbs. Those 2 trucks are working tremendously well together in a tandem. Once again, Raphael Lessard now goes 5 wide on the inside as McLaughlin and Sauter run very wide on the exit of the corner. Look at Lessard almost on the inside berm, trying to make up track position. Photo finish once again at the start-finish line. That time, it was Ty Gibbs. But now up through the gears once again, the 87 of Timothy Peters trying to pull ahead of that 18. Where will the 51 truck go? He is a very critical pusher in this front straightaway battle. He's going to side with his teammate, Ty Gibbs. Now through the kink on the front straightaway. Outside line, getting a lot of momentum with those 2 Tundras. Matt Crafton sides on the inside with Timothy Peters. And coming into the south turn, once again, a very difficult braking zone, much like a road course. You get a good opportunity to try and outbrake somebody coming in to the south turn right here, especially considering that it's asphalt, very, very hard on brakes. Now coming out of the south turn, Ty Gibbs gets the advantage. He's going to have his teammate, Daniel Hemrick, in line behind him, depending on how the run from the 87 truck goes. That 18 truck's a little bit far out front for my personal liking. He's going to have trucks really swarming him on the entry to the north turn, as now the 75 and 51 trucks are starting to tandem down the Long Beach straight. 87 and 88 as well, locking bumpers. 18 trucks a bit of a sitting duck right now, but it looks like he's going to get picked up by the 87. Look at this field roar down into the north turn, fanning out once again. Here comes Peters on the inside. 4 wide for the top spot in the Sunoco 160. The 51 truck runs very wide up the racetrack, all the way into the loose sand. And at the start-finish line, who's going to get it this time by? It is Ty Gibbs. Gibbs once again out front. Looks like he's going to try and clear the 87 truck of Peters down the front straightaway. We got Larson going through the middle. We haven't talked much about him over the course of this race already, but he's making his name known. Currently the highest running Cup Series competitor, now making his way up into 5th position. 87 of Timothy Peters right now aggressively side drafting with the 75 and 18 trucks of Kligerman and Ty Gibbs. Larson trying to make something happen with Kligerman and Gibbs right now. They're in a 3-truck tandem up on the outside of the racetrack. Very hard braking zone down into the south turn. We've got to mind your P's and Q's coming into this corner. You don't want to get loose on the asphalt and spin out into the sand, because then you kind of dig into the sand and can get stuck there. In fact, 18 of Ty Gibbs prevails coming off of the south turn, getting the advantage by a few truck lengths actually above the 87 of Timothy Peters, who had a very low exit of the corner. 17 of Kyle Larson. He's going to be able to tandem with the 75 of Parker Kligerman down the beach straight. Remember that the stage end is lap number 13. We're already up to lap 5. Rather quick laps here, even with the large track distance, as here comes the 75 up to the outside of the 18. Going to try and outbrake him into the north turn, but he does not have drafting help going in his favor. Larson up into 3rd position. Contact between Johnny Sauter and Trevor Bain in that 44 truck. Bain does an incredible job keeping that truck out of the guardrail. Side by side for the top spot goes Kligerman and Gibbs. And at the line, it is going to be Kligerman getting the power down first to clear the 18 truck by the start-finish line. Look at that 99 truck of Ben Rhodes down on the inside, trying to go 3 wide, making up track position. Right now, an update on your regular season championship contenders. The 2 truck of Sheldon Creed runs all the way down in the 32nd position, while the 88 of Matt Crafton is running in 6th. That is a very pivotal battle right there. The second place runner in regular season points, the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger, runs down in 39th as there's trouble between the 99 and 87 of Timothy Peters, but they keep from wrecking once again. An incredible save by those two, keeping it off the wall, as now there's more contact between the 42 and 16. They as well keep it out of the inside concrete barrier. Side by side for the top spot as the 75 truck of Kligerman holds it. Coming off the south turn, the 51 of Daniel Hemrick down on the inside does not have much drafting help whatsoever. He's managed to get his way around the 17 of Kyle Larson. As now look at this, the 18 and 75 trucks just about tandeming down the beach straight. Now Gibbs makes a look up to the outside of the 75. He does not want to sit in line behind Kligerman. It looks like Kligerman will close the door on that 18 truck and force him to figure out another way around. Here comes the 88 and 51 trucks down on the inside, tandeming their way around the 17 of Kyle Larson. Looks like Crafton's going to try and potentially make it 3 wide. Got a move being made up on the outside by the 18 of Ty Gibbs, trying to get side by side with the 75. He drops back, and now Hemrick getting a bit of a run on the inside of the racetrack. Matt Crafton up in the 3rd spot. What is this? 5 wide on the front stretch. Larson loses a lot of track position right there in that exchange. A very bold move by Johnny Sauter, making it 5 wide at the start-finish line. Michael Self has made his way back up into 5th position. Raphael Lassard currently scored in 9th, although I do believe he has passed a few trucks after the start-finish line scoring loop. Right now you have the 51 and 75 trucks of Kligerman and Hemrick tandem drafting out front here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Coming down into the south turn, very tight braking zone once again. Looks like the field's getting a little bit more orderly. No one really willing to make a move right this second. Everybody trying to kind of shake down their trucks, figure out what they have to the end of stage number 1. Because obviously, to finish first you must finish. Can't get too racy in the beginning. Coming off of the south turn, the 75 truck got the power down first. Is starting to gap the 51 a little bit, but through the effectiveness of the draft, look at that 51 close the gap very quickly up into the tailgate of that 75, and now they are beginning to tandem, just barely. As the 18 and 88 trucks completely locked bumpers down the beach straight, drafting all the way up to the tailgate of the 51. The field, for the most part, running single file right now. The 75 truck still trying to block the field. Battle side by side farther back. Tate Fogelman getting a good run, that 0 truck for Young's Motorsports. A little bit of contact right there between the 51 and 75 trucks for the top spot. Side by side for the race lead at the start-finish line. 75 truck gets the advantage, and Kligerman will clear the 51 truck on the front stretch. And for just an update on some of your back markers, including Todd Gilland, Ryan Newman, Will Rogers, and Ben Rhodes, they all had to come down pit road for assorted damage that they got on the beginning part of the race. Obviously, the mad skirmish for track position. Quite a few of them got put up into the wall. Fortunately, no caution flag, but they did have to come down pit road. Of those trucks that we mentioned, though, only the number 40 of Will Rogers is a lap down. Newman, Rhodes, and Gilland are still on the lead lap. We have the 88 of Matt Crafton down on the inside. There was contact between the 51 and 75 trucks of Hemrick and Kligerman. Kligerman takes a low exit of the south turn. He's going to try and slide his way up in front of that 51 truck of Hemrick. But because of that low exit, he's not carrying nearly the momentum that he would want on the beach straightaway. It's going to give the 51 truck an opportunity to try and pass him on the outside right here. He makes the move, and he's going to have his teammate Ty Gibbs in line behind him. A lot of momentum out of them KBM trucks up on the outside. Daniel Hemrick now inching his way into the race lead. 88 and 75 trucks tandeming down on the bottom of the racetrack. If you can call that the bottom, there's an awful lot of room here. Trouble almost between the KBM teammates of Hemrick and Gibbs. Gibbs almost sent the number 51 truck around. Obviously, tandeming into these corners, you have to be able to predict when the truck up in front of you starts slowing down. Otherwise, you get an incident almost like what we just saw right there as Hemrick leads at the start-finish line. But when the truck up in front of you starts slowing down a little bit more than you anticipated, you end up ramming their back bumper and just about wrecking them. That's what almost occurred between those KBM teammates. Lucky for them, one of them did not go careening off into the inside guardrail. Now down the long front straightaway, the field's starting to get single file once again. Bit of a 5-truck breakaway right now, all running in line. Bumper to bumper action here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. A little bit more than what we expected. We expected some bumper locking, but not as consistently as we've seen over the course of stage 1. A move once again trying to be made by Kligerman up into the loose sand, trying to use it almost as if it were a cushion on a dirt track. Gets a bit of a run coming off at the south turn right there. You can see some of the lap traffic up in front of race leader Hemrick. Will Rogers in jeopardy of dropping a second lap down, but Gilland, Newman, and Rhodes are in jeopardy of falling one lap down. So they are certainly going to battle Hemrick or whoever is the race leader at the time that they catch the tail end of that lap traffic. A little bit of contact right there between the 75 and 18 trucks. Gibbs had to avoid the 75 of Kligerman. Hemrick goes down the racetrack to try and pick up his teammate Ty Gibbs. But Gibbs is going to try and make a move to the inside. He's got a little bit of help coming from the 88 of Matt Crafton. He's got a fender underneath him, side by side, coming off the north turn. Here comes Crafton. 3 wide on the bottom. And at the stripe, a close margin for the top spot, but Ty Gibbs holds it at the stripe. Looks like right now Gibbs is more willing to work with the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. as a potential pusher down this long front straightaway. Now he moves up the racetrack to pick up the 51 truck of Hemrick, and that actually leaves the 88 truck without a drafting partner down on the bottom. And now the 51 truck gets picked up by the 75 of Kligerman. They are tandeming down the front stretch. Matt Crafton gets some help as well from the 25 of Michael Self. Into the south turn, very tight braking zone once again. Very dicey to try and pull this off, especially when you're trying to push another truck down the straight. Larson almost got turned around right there. Contact between the KBM teammates as well. Now exiting the south turn, side by side between Matt Crafton and Ty Gibbs. As now Crafton drops back just a little bit, might have spun his tires slightly in the looser sand. He was running a little bit farther down the racetrack than he'd want to be. Potentially slid one of his rear tires. Right now it looks like the KBM trucks might be able to work with each other once again. Ty Gibbs on the inside, but Hemrick gets a push from the 75 of Kligerman. He could not try and push the 18 truck because the odds are Kligerman just would have pushed him through the 18, but now Kligerman jumps down to the bottom to work with the 18 truck. Coming into the north turn, lap traffic of Will Rogers up in front of the field forces Gibbs to slow down early. Daniel Hemrick gets the advantage up on the outside. He's able to dive off into the corner and clear Ty Gibbs in the 18 truck. Matt Crafton once again going to try a very low exit of the final turn. Hemrick's going to hold it at the line, but Matt Crafton is going to steal away second position with help from the number 40 truck, the lap traffic of Will Rogers, who was put into the wall on lap number 1. Now we get a bit of a 4-truck breakaway. Tandems once again being evident. Matt Crafton going to try and get up there and push the 51 truck of Daniel Hemrick. And they are, in fact, blocking bumpers down the front straightaway. That is perfectly legal this season in the Camping World Truck Series. As I believe there was some contact farther back, Sam Mayer was put into the wall. And so here's what happened farther back. The field tries to avoid the number 40 of Will Rogers. 55 truck Majeski goes down to the inside to try and pass him. 14 truck tries to follow. He was not quite clear. Makes a little bit of contact with the right rear quarter panel. The 55 truck turning Ty Majeski and Sam Mayer both up into the outside concrete barrier. Very similar to Brian Vickers and Jimmy Johnson's collision at Talladega back in 06. One tries to make the move, the other tries to follow. They end up tangling. Back towards the front of the field, we still have the ongoing battle between Crafton, Hemrick, Gibbs, Self, and Kligerman, as there are more than 5 trucks that at any moment could lead this race. And now tagging on to this 5-truck breakaway is the 61 of Max McLaughlin. Down the beach straightaway. How is Hemrick going to try and defend his lane? Will he just kind of let Matt Crafton by? Will they try and tandem right here? There's a lot of drafting opportunities for that 88 truck. He try and make the move up to the outside. He's looking. Will he have a pusher to try and make the move? And yes, he will. Gibbs sides with Matt Crafton. Now it looks like he jumps down to the inside, leaving Crafton out. 51 and 18 trucks, teammates at Kyle Busch Motorsports, working together, but now they go 3 wide for the top spot. Gibbs trying to shoot his way through the middle. Matt Crafton gets forced all the way out into the loose sand. 3 wide for the top spot, still through the north turn. And who's going to get it at the start-finish line? Drag race onto the A1A. And it is Gibbs, once again, holding the race lead at the stripe. Where does Crafton go? He's a very critical pusher in this battle. He's going to go down to the inside to try and work with Daniel Hemrick to try and force that 51 truck out front. And now he sides with the 18 mid-straightaway, changes drafting partners. It looks like he's going to shove that 18 truck of Ty Gibbs past the 51 down the front stretch. 75 now sides with the 51 as well. Tandem racing here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course with now just 2 laps to go in stage number 1. Hemrick on the inside by himself. Ty Gibbs trying to defend 2 lanes right now with a charging Hemrick and Matt Crafton hounding his tailgate. Coming off of the south turn, 18 truck of Gibbs gets the advantage once again. Side by side for second goes Crafton and Hemrick. As now you have the 75 truck in line. Looks like he's going to side with the 51 of Daniel Hemrick. Now he cuts down to the inside. A bit of a fake out right there. He's going to try and work with the 88. of Matt Crafton, as Crafton makes the move up to the outside of the 18 of Ty Gibbs. Battling side by side down the beach straight. 88 versus 18, 75 versus 51, and then the odd man out, sort of. Michael Self in the 25, working with anyone who's willing to give him drafting help. Now side by side, into the north turn. Matt Crafton really drove it off into the corner. Sailed in there with a lot of momentum. Will it cost him on exit? At the line, it is going to be Ty Gibbs at the start-finish line, so sending it in that hard into the north turn did in fact cost him a little bit of his momentum on the exit of the corner. We'll have to memorize that for the finish of the race, as we are now in the final lap of stage number 1 here in the Sunoco 160. Kyle Larson, by the way, has started to drop back just a little bit. He currently resides in 11th position. Once again, side by side, tandem battle down the front straightaway, 75 and 88, working against the KBM teammates of Ty Gibbs and Daniel Hemrick. Hard braking zone down into the south turn. The field is currently averaging 137 miles an hour, which is by far the record of average pace here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, as Crafton clears the 18 and 51 trucks. That time charging down into the braking zone did in fact pay off. However, how much is it going to benefit him down the Long Beach straightaway, where he does have a bit of an advantage right now, but it will come to cost him as the field can draft up on the tailgate of that Menards Tundra. And so now the 18 and 51 trucks trying to get into a tandem once again. The 75 truck starting to drop back. Where does Crafton go to try and block? Down to the inside right now goes the 88 truck, a 3-truck tandem out in the front of the field. Down to the final braking zone of the north turn. Will Gibbs try to make a move on the 88 truck of Matt Crafton? He goes up to the outside. And so now a 4-wide battle forms for second, and that opens up the door for Matt Crafton, coming off of the north turn to cruise to a stage number 1 victory here in the Sunoco 160 at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. What a race so far, and the first ever visit by the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series to the Daytona Beach and Road Course. First time that any type of oval race has taken place at this racetrack since 1958, 63 years ago, and it's already producing a barn burner after just 13 laps of competition. So Matt Crafton wins the first stage in Camping World Truck Series history here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. 51 truck of Hemrick in second position, 75 of Kligerman in third. Ty Gibbs dropped all the way down to fourth back to the start-finish line, and Michael Self brought that 25 truck home in 5th position. And so now, after just a quick commercial break, we'll be back right here from the Daytona Beach and Road Course for the beginning of stage number 2. Hello everyone, welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Coming off of a fantastic ending to stage number 1, Matt Crafton now leads the majority of the field down pit road for the first time of the day. Drivers such as Crafton, Hemrick, Kligerman, Gibbs, Michael Self, Johnny Sauter, Max McLaughlin, and several others hit the pits. However, we had quite a few trucks up to stay out, including Trevor Bain, who will presently assume the race lead, above John Hunter Nemechek, Haley Deegan, and Casey Mears. But again, you don't know if these are some of the trucks that are going to try and pit with the pace truck to potentially get that fuel advantage. And so we had 10 trucks up to stay out. The first truck out of the pits was Daniel Hemrick, getting out in front of Michael Self, Max McLaughlin, Raphael Lassard, Kyle Larson, and Matt Crafton, losing quite a bit of track position in the pits. So they will restart 11th on back. And watch out for these top 10 contenders if they do not opt to come down pit road on the second lap, which is this lap under the caution flag period. But if they opt to stay out and go back to green under their current conditions, watch out for them to see how long they can stay in front of the trucks that are on fresh rubber. We've got one truck right now that is still on pit road. It's the 33 of Ryan Truex. He was involved in a run-in with the 45 truck of TJ Bell. A little bit of rear-end damage on the 33 truck. However, they are still getting that damage repaired as the field is now nearing the south turn. Lights are off on the pace truck this time by, and you can see the 44 truck of Trevor Bain has opted to come down pit road, as well as some of the trucks that came down pit road the first time, such as Daniel Hemrick, Michael Self, Max McLaughlin, Raphael Lassard, Kyle Larson, and a couple others, including Ty Dillon. They're pitting for a second time to try and maximize their fuel mileage. So, John Hunter Nemechek is actually going to take the green flag as the race leader. In the number 4 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports, above the 1 of Haley Deegan, 60 of Casey Mears, 02 of Tony Breidinger, and 21 of Zane Smith. The pit strategy is a little bit confusing here at Daytona Beach, but believe me, these teams do have a plan, because certain teams are going to try and skip the pit stop at the end of stage number 2 and try and make the way all the way to the finish. So there is quite a bit of strategy involved with this call to come down pit road with the pace car. And also the field has just gotten around the number 33 truck of Ryan Truex, who is still on pit road through that run-in with TJ Bell. He is officially 1 lap down. And so now John Hunter Nemechek leads the field through the north turn and onto the front straightaway. Flagman has the green flag in hand. And there it is. We are now underway for stage number 2 here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. You see right there the field coming off of pit road. See how perfectly timed it is at this racetrack. They're coming off right at the tail end. And so now Haley Deegan jumps up to the outside of the 4 truck of John Hunter Nemechek. She's going to have some help coming from the 60 of Casey Mears down the front straightaway. Mears side drafts the 4 truck, and Haley Deegan is now the race leader here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. On contact, once again, now the 55 truck gets hit by the 18 of Ty Gibbs. Once again, Majeski goes for a slide, but manages to catch that number 55 truck. Crafton gets turned. Matt Crafton gets turned around on the entry to the south turn. He corrects it, pulls off a full 360, grabs a gear and gets back going. But rear end damage on the 88 truck of Matt Crafton as Haley Deegan gets the advantage once again coming off the south turn. 88 truck of Matt Crafton's off the pace. He might be coming down pit road if he does, in fact, have to come to the pits to repair that damage. This may just be a big hit in points coming off of that high of winning the first stage. It looks like they will be trying to stay out. Haley Deegan right now still patrolling the field. She moves down the racetrack, though. It looks like she will be coming down pit road. Deegan, Mears, and everybody practically who stayed out will be pitting this time by. That hands the race lead over to, it looks like, the 02 of Tony Breidinger, who raced her way around the 41 of Dawson Cram. A lot of back and forth here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course as the field tries to figure out their strategy to try and take home the victory in the inaugural Sunoco 160. At the start-finish line, it was Dawson Cram to take away the race lead from Tony Breidinger. And here's a look back at the contact between the 03 of Scott Lagasse Jr. and the 88 of Matt Crafton. Just really did not anticipate how early he was going to slow up coming into the corner. And once again, Crafton and Peters back at it. This time, Peters was just a victim of circumstance, but he does accidentally make contact with the 88 truck of Crafton. Into the inside, retaining wall goes the 88, but he spins around, grabs a gear, and gets back going. No caution for this contact. And so now as the 02 and 41 trucks battle for the race lead, Mears, Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, Haley Deegan, and a few others head off of pit road. Now down the front straightaway, Tony Breidinger is going to have a little bit of help coming from Sam Mayer in the 14 truck for Tony Stewart Racing. Into the south turn, once again the tight braking zone. 41 truck trying to make a move on the inside. Breidinger is going to be able to really shove that 02 truck into the corner. She has the advantage of having the outside of the racetrack. And it looks like she's going to get the advantage coming off of the south turn. Breidinger back out front. Sam Mayer and Dawson Cram will battle it out for second position at the moment. And watch out for that 42 truck of Carson Hocevar. Racing right now in fifth position. Going to try and tandem draft right there with the 41 of Dawson Cram on the inside. Breidinger looks like she will be heading to pit road this time by. There was a huge save by someone farther back as Breidinger comes to the pits. 14 of Sam Mayer now inherits the race lead. He's trying to block the inside line now. Cuts down in front of the 41 and 42. Once again, tight braking zone as the field fans out. Hocevar making the look 3 wide on the inside. Kligerman back to the race lead. Johnny Sauter runs it wide, as well as Ty Majeski. Matt Crafton down on the inside, going 4 wide, almost near the berm on the inside of the track, and Kligerman holds the race lead at the stripe by a fender. Side by side goes the 14 and 75 trucks down the front straightaway, and up in front of these two is once again lap traffic. Now it's the 33 of Ryan Truex, who is finally off pit road, as Kligerman clears the field. And here's a replay of the save between Tanner Gray and Ben Rhodes. Rhodes makes contact with the 15 truck middle of the straightaway. The beach straight almost sends that 15 truck around, but Gray does a fantastic job keeping that truck out of the inside concrete barrier. Now down the front straightaway with the 75 truck controlling the field, we have a 3-truck tandem from second all the way back to fourth between Mayer, Cram, and Peters. Trying to run down the 75 truck, now down into the hard braking zone of the south turn. You have the 88 and 42 trucks down on the inside trying to make up track position. Taking a different line really than anybody else. Now the 14 and 75 trucks separate, and Kligerman gets the run coming off of the south turn. Down the Long Beach straightaway. Which partner will you try and go with and draft your way towards the head of the pack? 2-mile straightaways give you a very long time to make that decision. Right now, it looks like Peters will side with the 41 of Dawson Cram. And right there, that's a perfect tandem that you're seeing between Cram and Peters. Perfect bumper locking, and it's square. He's not pushing on one of the quarter panels like we saw between Rhodes and Gray. Perfectly square bump drafting right there, and that is shoving the 41 truck out towards the front. And right up to the tailgate right now, the 75 of Kligerman. Applying some pressure right now to the race leader. Here comes Crafton. 3 wide to the inside. Vying for second once again as Hocevar makes the look for 4 wide. At the line, it is Kligerman still clearing the field. 41 truck of Dawson Cram held second at the start-finish line. Look at this, Ty Gibbs in the 18 truck, your pole sitter, back into 7th position. Keep your eyes on that truck, it's very quick. Especially given the fact that it's the pole truck, it is by far the most streamlined. Now battling side by side for second is the 41 and 87 of Peters and Cram. Matt Crafton isn't quite picking someone to push. Now he jumps up to the outside, but once again back into the braking zone. Can't exactly push into here unless you want to start a big accident. A little bit of contact right there farther back between the 52 and 18 trucks. Cram tries to jump up to the outside of the 75. Couldn't quite do it as Parker Kligerman closed the door, but now he gets the run. Dawson Cram goes side by side with the 75 truck of Parker Kligerman down the beach straightaway. Trying to move up the racetrack to side draft him just a little bit. 41 truck now starting to inch ahead of the race leaders. And who's going to try and get up there in tandem with him? Outside line is much more developed than the inside. 88 of Crafton goes up to push the 41 of Dawson Cram. The field starting to fan out now, potentially in anticipation of the 33 truck of Ryan Truex up in front of them. Now the field fans out into 3 wide groups. Once again, contact between Crafton and Dawson Cram. Field going 4 wide once again. Kligerman down on the bottom. Cram trying to force the field wide, side by side to the stripe. It is Dawson Cram holding the race lead. Now the lap truck of Ryan Truex is within the same frame of the race leaders. Got a 3 wide move being made down on the bottom by Timothy Peters. He's going to take up 3rd position. Kligerman side by side with Dawson Cram for the top spot. And the 13 and 87 trucks currently working together in a tandem. And also the 41 and 18 trucks working together up on the outside. Down into the south turn. There's the 33 truck of Ryan Truex. Potentially is going to try and stay from dropping a 2nd lap behind the race leaders, although I doubt him putting up too much of a fight. Cram trying to take home his second career Camping World Truck Series victory, won recently out at Michigan, but this would certainly be a huge win for Cram, becoming the first winner at this facility since Paul Goldsmith back in 1958. And right now, the 41 truck moves up the racetrack. He's actually trying to draft off the 33 of Ryan Truex, it appears. Try and get that run down the Long Beach straightaway. And here comes the 18 of Ty Gibbs, making a look up to the outside. The 41, Cram gets boxed in by the 33 of Truex just a little bit. That's going to allow the outside line to throw in a lot of momentum into the north turn. A little bit of contact right there as Cram shoves the 33 of Ryan Truex out of the racing line. 18 of Ty Gibbs really hustled it into the corner, try and get the advantage on the exit of the north turn, side by side at the stripe. At the line, it was too close to call. Scoring gives it to the 41 of Dawson Cram. They're still trying to put the 33 of Truex through the middle. Where will Timothy Peters go? He's going to be a critical pusher in this madness. He will side with Ty Gibbs, it appears, up on the outside of the racetrack. That 33 of Ryan Truex, though, is slightly disrupting their momentum. He's kind of side drafting them and pulling them back so they can't fully commit to a tandem. But Timothy Peters now up into second. Ty Gibbs back out front. Dawson Cram stuck in line. He might have to put the bumper to the 33 once again, because the first time it didn't send a big enough message. Contact between the 18 and 87. Peters puts Ty Gibbs into the outside wall. 4 wide for the top spot. Lap truck on the inside. Gibbs, after just being put up into the outside tire barriers, looks like he's going to clear the field for the lead once again. An incredible move to not only keep that truck from wrecking in its entirety, but to retake the race lead in the madness. Here comes the 75 down on the inside. Ty Gibbs gets moved out of line. Will he be coming to pit road? Yes, he is. Ty Gibbs is hitting the pits for the damage that he suffered up into the outside wall. He managed to clear the field for the race lead, but now he has to come down pit road for a tire rub. 87 of Peters back out front, and I'm sure Gibbs is going to remember that move for a very long time. Down into the north turn. The 51 truck almost misses the corner. 5 wide right there. Through the north turn, as now the 87 of Peters holds the lead at the start-finish line. Less than 5 laps to go already in stage number 2. We've had an eventful race, but not too many cautions, and that's definitely what you want to see. And if you're wondering about where the number 2 truck of Sheldon Creedy is, he currently resides in 32nd position. However, he is running a different strategy from the race leaders right now. He will likely skip the next cycle of pit stops. Tandems out front between the 87 and 75 trucks of Kligerman and Peters. Peters gets shoved out into the race lead once again as they're trying to gap the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. And down to the south turn, Peters going to hold the advantage. Crafton going to try and make it stick down on the inside of the racetrack. Very low line. But the 87 truck puts the power down effectively on the outside of the racetrack and clears the field once again. But he might just be a sitting duck down the beach straight, because here comes the 75 of Kligerman in the draft. Kligerman right up to the tailgate of the 87. Now jumps up to the outside. He's already making the look to try and go for the race lead. He's going to have some help coming from the 41 of Dawson Cram. But Cram now jumps to the bottom, abandoning the 75 up on the top of the racetrack. Tandems between the 41 and 87. Can Cram try and make it work through the middle? Because right now he's not working with anyone. 75 truck outbreaks the 87 into the north turn. It's going to be a battle down the front straightaway. Who can get the advantage into the south turn? First one to get the power down was the 75 as the caution flag waves. Yellow flag is out here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Racing back to the start-finish line, it was the 75 of Kligerman just barely edging out the 87 of Peters, then the 41 of Cram, 42 of Hocevar, and 13 of Johnny Sauter. And here's why we are now under the caution flag. We have this big gaggle of trucks running down the beach straightaway. 26 of Chase Purdy getting pushed by the 51 of Daniel Hemrick. And I talked about this earlier. Don't try and push on the quarter panels. Well, guess what? The 51 truck pushes the 26 on the right rear quarter panel, turns him up into the outside guardrail. A big hit for that 26 truck, ricochets back into the 51, collects Kyle Larson, TJ Bell, Tanner Gray, and Raphael Lassard, as well as Max McLaughlin getting some damage from the 26. Bring out a caution flag due to an accident here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. So folks, once again, at this rate, Matt Crafton is going to leave the Sunoco 160 with an even bigger point margin. However, his contenders in regular season points, such as Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger, his teammates in particular, have started to march their way towards the front of the field. Ben Rhodes back up to 14th position. Grant Enfinger's made his way up to 16th. And we'll see how the number 2 team's abstract strategy plays out, because they currently reside in 32nd, but they have definitely a few cards up their sleeve. And we have a few takers for pit road. Race leader Kligerman opts to stay out, as well as Cram, Hocevar, Sauter, Mayer, and several others. However, the second place runner Timothy Peters has opted to come down, as well as the 88 of Matt Crafton, 55 of Ty Majeski. Farther back we have all the trucks involved in the accident down the beach straight as well. So quite a few takers into the pits, and I'm not so sure if they can keep that 26 truck running. Might have got some radiator damage, especially from pounding that outside guardrail. Also, the number 92 truck of Austin Terrio was suffering some electrical problems over the course of that last green flag run. Took a lot of time for them to get those problems fixed. In fact, he dropped 3 laps down. So once again, Terrio and this 92 team do not capitalize on their competition's mistakes, because Brett Holmes, who they're racing with for a playoff spot, he did not even make this race. But the 92 team has trouble, and they're currently scored dead last, 42nd position. That means that they would score 1 point. So not a very big gain on a driver who is going to score 0 points, that being Brett Holmes. So once again, they're gaining next to nothing from another competitor's gigantic mistake. And how about this? We have not talked about Chandler Smith really very much this entire season, but he currently runs in 6th position through pit strategy. And when we go back green, if he does not opt to pit on the second lap under caution, he has a legitimate shot at taking home the stage number 2 victory, with now just going to be 2 laps left in stage 2 once we take the green. And so now the pace truck has hit pit road. Nobody came down pit road on the second lap. So that means the front runners that you see now are going for this stage number 2 victory. Parker Kligerman, the second place qualifier who missed out on the pole by just 1/1000th of a second, now leads the field, coming into just 2 laps to go in stage number 2. It's going to be a very intense battle for this stage number 2 victory. Matt Crafton, remember, he pitted. He's going to be starting all the way back towards the tail end of the field. It will be interesting to see how far he can make it through the field in these next 2 laps before the green and white checkered flag falls. 75 truck leads the field out of the north turn and onto the front straightaway. Flagman has the green flag in hand. And there's the green flag with just 2 laps to go in stage number 2 at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. The field already scrambling for track position. Contact between the 25 and 15. Tanner Gray has had to catch that race truck 3 different times, and now a 4th time as they made contact again. Gray, showing incredible truck control at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, still has yet to wreck. And he probably should have at least 4 times already. 75 truck holds the advantage right now. Single file into the south turn. Gets a little bit of a bump right there between the 75 and 41 trucks of Cram and Kligerman. Contact between the 42 and 13. Sam Mayer sends Johnny Sauter around. The 13 of Sauter gets turned off the front bumper. The 14 of Sam Mayer. The 75 truck gets the advantage off the south turn. Kligerman back out front. And we remain green. So we will end this stage under a green flag condition. I'm not sure whether or not Johnny Sauter has to come down pit road. Didn't seem like he suffered too much damage, but it still was somewhat significant. He will stay out and see where he can finish in the end of this second stage. It looks like Sam Mayer's actually got a little bit worse damage than the 13 truck, actually, because he's dropping off the pace quicker than the 13 of Sauter. Down on the inside, you see the 3 truck of Brandon McReynolds. He's all the way up into third position. Trying to make his way potentially into second as the field fans out into the north turn. Look at the 52 truck of Stuart Friesen, finding an entirely new racing line up there. 16 all the way down by the berm, and Kligerman leads at the start-finish line. Now just 1 lap to go in stage number 2 here in the Sunoco 160. Incredible racing so far. Kligerman leads a hard-charging 41 of Dawson Cram, then the 3 of Brandon McReynolds, 16 of Austin Hill, and where did Ben Rhodes come from? He's all the way made his way back to 5th position. 5 trucks running under a blanket right now, almost tandeming out towards the front of the field. We have a 6th truck that is tagged onto this. It is the 38, and Gray almost gets turned around again. This time it was the 18 of Ty Gibbs putting the back bumper to him. 42 gets put up into the outside retaining wall. Carson Hocevar gets tagged by the 12 of Christian Eckes. Side by side, down the beach straight goes the 41 and 75 trucks as Kligerman gets the advantage with a great launch off of the south turn. And the 75 truck's getting out to a slightly large advantage. That might hurt him in the run down to the north turn. Tandeming going on between the 3 of Brandon McReynolds and the 16 of Austin Hill. They're going to have a huge run of momentum onto the 75 truck. Here comes McReynolds with the crossover. Dives down to the bottom. The field fanning out farther back. 75 truck's going to have an advantage potentially coming into the north turn. He's going to be able to sail that truck off into the corner a little bit harder. Tried to cut down in front of the 3, but the room was not there. McReynolds side by side with the 75 truck to the line. It is going to be Kligerman to take the stage number 2 victory. Parker Kligerman wins the second stage here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Kligerman in the 75 for Henderson Motorsports. They've shown great speed all week long, taking home the stage number 2 victory in a close battle above the 3 truck of Brandon McReynolds, who is almost out of nowhere shown up as a legitimate contender for the race victory. Dawson Cram in 3rd spot, Austin Hill in 4th, and the 46 truck of Chandler Smith made his way all the way up to 5th. Ben Rhodes finished in 6th position, who's running for the regular season point championship. Grant Enfinger 7th, and where did Matt Crafton make his way up to? Crafton drove his way up to 38th. I think he actually lost track position in those final 2 laps of stage number 2. And here's what happened to Johnny Sauter on lap 25. Bit of an accordion-style accident. 42 truck slows up a little bit more than he anticipated. That upsets the 13 because he hits the tailgate of the 42. Sam Mayer doesn't notice this happening. Mayer then makes contact with the 13 truck, turning him up into the outside wall and sending him around. But a lot of front-end damage on that 14 truck as Sauter just grabs a gear and gets back going, much like his teammate Matt Crafton earlier on in today's event. Then on the next lap, we had a similar style accordion accident as the 13 of Johnny Sauter actually pushes the 12 of Christian Eckes a little bit too hard into the corner and makes contact with the 42 right there of Carson Hocevar, turning Hocevar up into the outside tire barrier. Pretty good contact right there, but it doesn't look like it's caused too much damage to Carson Hocevar's Chevrolet Silverado. And so now, after just a quick commercial break, we'll be back right here from the Daytona Beach and Road Course for the beginning of the final stage of the inaugural Sunoco 160. Hello everyone, welcome back to Daytona Beach, Florida. Under the caution flag period between stages 2 and the final stage, most of the field has opted to stay out. However, the trucks that got damaged on that last restart, such as Carson Hocevar, Sam Mayer, and Johnny Sauter, are all hitting the pits. So that might sound detrimental, and also we have quite a few trucks coming in with those drivers, such as Majeski, Hemrick, Larson, and Crafton. This will give them a big-time fuel advantage because they're going to refuel, have as much fuel as they need for this final stage of 13 laps. The trucks up in front of them, however, they're trying to make it on 26-plus laps to end this race on gas mileage. It's going to be tough if they don't come down this second lap under the caution flag period. I'd personally want to be one of the trucks pitting right now because you can make your way through the field fairly quickly here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, and I would not want to be caught out on some type of fuel problem. This racetrack is 4.1 miles in length. If you run out of gas halfway through the racetrack, you still aren't going to make it back to pit road. I don't think it's a risk worth taking, but these teams are willing to put it all on the line to become the first winner at the Daytona Beach and Road Course since Paul Goldsmith and Smokey Unick's car. So the trucks that you see out front right now that have not come down pit road, if they don't pit on this second lap under caution, they are most likely going to have to try and save a lot of gas over the course of this run if it goes all the way green. So backing off the pace quite a bit. However, if we do get a caution flag period, I think they will be safe. But this race so far has not lent itself to creating too many cautions. A lot of the wrecks that we see go caution-free, such as the spins of Sauter and Crafton, so I wouldn't exactly bank on them getting a caution flag. They're likely going to try and back down the pace a little bit and see if they can make it to the finish on what gas they have left. All right, so nobody's opted to come down pit road on the second lap under caution, as now the pace truck hits pit road. So that means if we do not get a caution flag due to some type of accident, right now you've got what you got. You got to try and make your fuel last all the way to the finish and keep that truck clean to potentially take home the victory in the inaugural Sunoco 160. Once again, Parker Kligerman, qualified in second position for this inaugural event, leads the field at the Daytona Beach and Road Course right now above the number 3 truck of Brandon McReynolds, son of famous Cup Series crew chief Larry McReynolds. Now through the north turn and onto the front straightaway. The 75 truck of Kligerman leads the field. The flagman has the green flag in hand. And there it is. We are now underway for the final stage in the Sunoco 160 from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Side by side already goes the 3 truck of McReynolds up to the outside of the 75 of Parker Kligerman. I take it McReynolds is not trying to save gas early in this run. He wants the track position early. And the 16 of Austin Hill goes up that's the 41 of Dawson Cram. 16 is in line behind him, but the 41 of Cram follows the 3 truck up on the outside. You have the 46 now pushing the 75 on the bottom. Down to the hard braking zone of the south turn. The 3 truck of McReynolds going to have a bit of an advantage. Trevor Bain gets loose on the entry of the corner. He had to catch the 44 truck. And now the 3 of McReynolds going to get the advantage coming off of the south turn. 75 truck slid out just a little bit too far. Couldn't quite get the power down. And McReynolds inches ahead here in the Sunoco 160. He moves up to the outside to try and block the 75 of Parker Kligerman. But here comes Cram on the bottom. And Dawson Cram's going to have a run coming from the 16 of Austin Hill. Tandeming out front once again. Oh, contact! The race leaders get put up into the outside wall. The 46 of Chandler Smith shoots by on the bottom. Here comes the 98 of Grant Enfinger and the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Those two contending for the regular season championship. There's more contact as the 99 and 98 slam into each other. 3 wide for the top spot goes Brennan Poole on the bottom, and he restarted in 10th position at the stripe. Almost too close to call at the start-finish line, but scoring gets it to the 98 of Grant Enfinger to lead the lap. Side by side between Enfinger and Poole for the top spot. And here's just another look at the contact between the 75 and 3 trucks of Kligerman and McReynolds that could have wiped out the entire front-running pack. 75 truck tries to push the 3, but once again he pushes on that quarter panel, pushes on that right rear, sends him up into the outside wall, into the 41, shoving Cram into the wall, as well as the 16. Fortunately, McReynolds gets up against the outside guardrail and gets that 3-truck under control before it starts a massive accident. And then the 46 shoots by on the bottom with a push from the 98, going from 5th to 1st in that exchange. Incredible driving from these competitors here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, not to have wrecked about 20-some trucks right there. And so now we have just 10 laps to go here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. That might sound like we're nearing the end of the race, right? Well, at this racetrack, that means we have 41 miles left in the event. 98 of Enfinger, almost without any drafting help right now, coming into the first turn. The field fanning out now 3 wide as Ben Rose tries to go to the inside for the race lead. Brennan Poole gets the run side by side with the 98, trying to outbreak him. Ryan Newman almost gets turned around off the front bumper of the 16 of Austin Hill. He managed to get that truck under control. 3 wide coming off of the south turn. Right now it looks like the 98 of Enfinger is going to get the advantage. Thor Sport Trucks battling for the top spots right now. As it looks like Enfinger's got the preferred line, he will draft his way beyond the number 99 truck. But how about this? Smith working with the 30 of Brennan Poole, trying to draft their way around the race leader of Grant Enfinger. It looks like they're going to be able to do it, but Smith abandons the 30 truck up on the outside. Chandler Smith now bump drafting the 98 of Grant Enfinger, trying to send him out into a farther lead, but now into the braking zone of the north turn. Can't keep pushing once you get into the braking zone, because then you'll start a very large crash. 61 and 75 trucks made contact coming into the corner. Here comes Chandler Smith trying to go 3 wide on the bottom. Stuart Friesen runs wide on exit, and the 98 holds the race lead at the start-finish line. Remember, Enfinger is trying to score a good finish here today and potentially take home that regular season point lead. He comes into this race at a 15-point deficit from his teammate Matt Crafton. Well, after Crafton's pit stop, he currently runs all the way down in 33rd position. That would certainly be enough to surpass Matt Crafton's point lead. Running in the draft right now, we have the 30 of Brennan Poole trying to find a drafting partner. Right now, he might be able to side with the 98 of Enfinger, but he's going to try and probably pull a slingshot on him down the beach straight. The field mostly running single file, but Legassi almost gets turned around. Off the front bumper, the 41 of Dawson Cram as things get physical into the south turn. 3 wide for second. Todd Gilliland almost out of nowhere, going for second position through the middle. Brennan Poole up on the outside of the racetrack, trying to side draft the 38 of Todd Gilliland. Now he gets the push from the 75 of Kligerman. Those two in a tandem, trying to work their way to the outside of the 98 of Grant Enfinger. Can't quite do it. They're not making enough time on him quickly enough. As you recall, that 75 truck is damaged. He made that contact just a few laps ago with the outside guardrail and a couple other trucks, so 75 truck might not be the best pusher in the world, but it is working as the 30 starts to inch his way ahead of the 98. Brendan Poole going for his second career Camping World Truck Series victory as the field runs 5 wide out of the north turn. Enfinger holds the race lead at the start-finish line as Brendan Poole got forced up into the sand. Ryan Newman in the number 39 truck for DCC Racing currently runs the 13th position, finally starting to make his way back through the field after having early race trouble. Todd Gilliland back up into second spot. He has managed to clear the 30 of Brennan Poole. Those two starting to work in a tandem now. 75 of Kligerman also supplying a push. Coming down into the south turn. About a 7-truck breakaway right now. And all compresses into the corner. A little bit of contact right there between Legassi and Chandler Smith. Now door-to-door contact as Legassi gets forced up onto the berm. He has to take a very low exit of the south turn to try and avoid contact, as the trucks up on the outside are able to keep their momentum going. 98 of Enfinger still trying to clear the 38 of Todd Gilliland. Right now they run side by side down the beach straight. Neither of them really getting any pushers from behind. Just relying on the side draft to pull one another back. That looks like the 38's going to get a bit of a push coming from the 75 of Kligerman. Ryan Newman got loose farther back as well, but now into the braking zone of the north turn. Gets a little bit loose from the back bumper push coming from the 75. Max McLaughlin overdrove the corner way up near the tire barriers. Newman trying to go almost 4 wide on the bottom, and he's making it stick. Trying to make his way around. Bain, Friesen, and Eckes in the same move. Both Coca-Cola trucks down there on the inside. And now, the 38 of Todd Gilliland has taken away the race lead up on the outside of the racetrack. 98 of Grant Enfinger almost being freight trained up on the outside. Now he's going to have a bit of a pusher coming from the 30 of Brennan Poole. Ford and Chevy up on the outside, Toyota on the inside. Here comes Poole trying to make the move work. He gets put into the outside wall. Up in front of the field goes Poole. 99 and 46 trucks carry each other up into the outside wall, and the caution flag waves. Once again, the leaders get caught up in trouble as now the 38 of Todd Gilliland holds the race lead right now with a battle for second ongoing between Parker Kligerman and Grant Enfinger. Flying past our cameras, Enfinger getting a huge run on the 38. Right up to the back bumper, going to try and tandem up into the north turn. Stuart Friesen, almost out of nowhere, now up into third position. He's going for second. He is the winningest driver on dirt in Camping World Truck Series history. Can he score a win on sand in this series? He has a very good shot at it. Outside versus inside lines, coming back to the start-finish line and to the caution flag. Trevor Bain goes 3 wide on the bottom, and that allows Todd Gilliland to lead the field back to the caution flag. Gilliland is your race leader. Second place still held by Grant Enfinger, third. Stuart Friesen, fourth. Trevor Bain, and in fifth, we have the 75 of Parker Kligerman. You see farther back, that's the 88 of Matt Crafton, still running somewhat mired back in the pack. You know, we're getting near the end of the race. The bump drafting is going to get more and more intense, and we saw that right here with this move being made by the 99 and 30 trucks who were trying to work in a tandem to race their way around the 98 of Grant Enfinger. So the 30 tries to make the look down to the inside. Once again, the 99 truck isn't quite clear of the 30, but he tries to commit down to the bottom anyway. He makes contact with the right rear quarter panel of the 30 truck up into the 46, turning them up into the outside wall. Pretty big hit for Brennan Poole and Ben Rhodes, who's racing for that regular season point championship. Then the 30 goes down and door slams the 41 of Dawson Cram. Getting turned around, he manages to grab a gear and get back going, but it does bring out the caution flag very late in the race here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. But especially a big hit, by the way, for that 99 team of Ben Rhodes. They do not need any disturbances in their challenge for that regular season championship, with this being the penultimate race of the regular season. And do you believe that after 34 laps of very hard-fought racing action so far here in the inaugural Sunoco 160, not a single truck is out of the race? All 42 trucks still running. Only 3 trucks are behind the race leader by a lap or more. In fact, we don't have a single truck that's 1 lap down. The 33 and 40 trucks of Will Rogers and Ryan Truex, they are both 2 laps down, and the 92 truck of Austin Theriault, who is having electrical trouble during stage number 1, he is still 3 laps behind the race leader. So it's been a very competitive race here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Unlike what we would see back in the 40s and 50s when a car would win by a couple laps. So we've got only 2 trucks coming down pit road, those being the 30 of Brendan Poole and the 46 of Chandler Smith, who were damaged in that crash. Beyond that, everybody else is staying out on the racetrack. You know, it's amazing. This racetrack is so large that it really makes speed somewhat incomprehensible. You see the entire field snaking their way across the beach straight. Looks like they're at a snail's pace, doesn't it? Well, this racetrack is so big that they're actually traveling at 55 miles an hour, your average U.S. highway speed. And yet, this track is so gigantic that it's making it look like they're going at maybe a school zone speed. So unfortunately for Brennan Poole and Chandler Smith, their chances of winning today's inaugural Sunoco 160 are pretty much gone. They're going to restart down in 37th and 38th with just a few laps remaining. You know, we haven't even really mentioned the cup ringer of Chase Briscoe all day, but he currently resides in 26th position. Really hasn't done anything spectacular all race long. He's got really too much track position to try and make up to make a last-ditch effort at the victory. Nobody has opted to come down pit road under this second lap under the caution flag. We're going to restart with just 4 laps to go in the inaugural Sunoco 160 from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. You got to give it everything you got in these final 16 miles. Todd Gillen leads the field out of the north turn and onto the front straightaway. Flagman has the green flag in hand. And we are now underway with just 4 laps remaining here from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. 38 got a bit of a jump above the 98 truck as the 44 of Trevor Bayne gets left out of line. Todd Gillen going to try and defend from that 98 truck as they now tandem down the front straightaway. Gillen going after what could potentially be the biggest win of his career. Stuart Friesen up to the back bumper as well. 3-truck breakaway right now. Remember, you have to keep in mind the fuel mileage situation. We're not exactly sure if all these trucks can make it all the way to the finish. We know that caution flag period helped them, but still, will it be enough? A lot of contact all throughout this field as the 75 clips the 44 of Trevor Bayne, but they keep it together. They now run 4 wide through the south turn. 38 of Gillen still holds the race lead, 98 running in second. 52 holds on to third spot, but the battle for fourth is remarkable. 03 of Scott Legassi Jr. up on the outside, battling side by side with the 44. As now looks like Trevor Bayne might be able to get the advantage. Now a tandem draft between the 52 and 98. Trying to get their way up to the outside, the 38 of Todd Gillen. They now move down to the bottom. 3-truck breakaway once again. Now down into the north turn. Make a little bit of bumper-to-bumper contact. The 98 of Enfinger trying to move the 38 up the racetrack. The field now fanning out into the corner. The 03 of Legassi almost missed the turn. Way up into the soft sand. Battle side by side for second now between the 52 and 98. Todd Gillen still holds on to that race lead for Front Row Motorsports. Farther back, you have a mad gaggle of trucks battling for track position, including names like Chase Briscoe and Matt Crafton. And I'm sure Crafton can see up in front of him that 98 truck of Grant Enfinger driving away. That being his teammate. Now going for second, tandeming with the 38 of Todd Gillen. Here comes a tandem between Kligerman and Friesen down on the inside, trying to disrupt the 38 and 98 truck's momentum. Up on the outside, Gillen will likely get the advantage coming into the south turn. Ryan Newman, you see farther back, trying to go through the middle. And so now Gillen gets bumped by the 98 of Enfinger. He's going to have to take a shallow exit of the south turn. Enfinger's going to be able to roll a lot of that top side momentum. And better yet, Enfinger's got a teammate in line. The Thor Sport trucks can try and get in line and tandem their way past the 38 of Gillen, who has no friends out in front. In fact, no even Fords in sight. There comes the 98 with a huge run. Nothing Gillen can even do to try and defend it. Enfinger up to the outside. Looks like he's going to be able to clear him as the 52 now jumps in between the 75 and 38. Now Friesen going through the middle. Almost a 4-wide move being made by Kligerman down on the bottom. Contact between the 61 and 12. They still keep it going. 3 wide now for second. 52 of Friesen sends it in up on the top. Going for everything he can get up on the top of the racetrack, coming off of the north turn. 98 of Enfinger back out front. 2 laps to go. 8.2 miles left in the inaugural Sunoco 160. Remember, we cannot go into an overtime finish. The race will run the advertised distance of 39 laps. So if we can make it to the white flag, this race will be official. Now down the front stretch, the 75 truck getting forced out of line just a little bit. 38 trying to tag on to the 98. We had a very aggressive move made by Trevor Bayne. He's getting pushed by the 52 of Friesen. Down into the south turn. A little bit of contact right there between Ty Gibbs and the 12 of Christian Eckes, trying to force Eckes wide. Here comes Kligerman down on the bottom, trying to challenge the 98 of Enfinger. Will Enfinger and Gillen work together down the beach straight? Or can Gillen try and pull a move on him up on the outside? The top 3 running trucks right now are all 3 manufacturers: Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet. Here comes Gillen trying to make the move to the top. He does not have much drafting help, but he's going to try and make it stick. Now he cuts back in line. Tandem forming between Trevor Bayne and Stuart Friesen. Coming down into the north turn. Hard onto the brakes. Can Gillen try and make a move? He stays in line for now. Tate Fogelman running all the way up to the top of the track. Here comes the 38 moving up as well, trying to find some grip in the higher grooves in the north turn. White flag is out. Here comes Trevor Bayne with a run up to the 98 of Grant Enfinger. He's going to side with the 98 truck. He's going to try and push his way to second. Todd Gillen gets hung out of line. This 44 truck won last time out at Myrtle Beach with TJ Bell. Can they go 2 in a row now with Trevor Bayne? Now Bayne does not have that much drafting help up on the outside, being abandoned just slightly. He's got some help now from Stuart Friesen. Coming down to the south turn for the final time. A little bit of bump right there between the 52 and 44 trucks. And right there, Enfinger tries to send it in deeper into the south turn. The outside line is going to have a lot of formation. And that's good news for the number 38 of Todd Gillen as he jumps up to the outside. He's going to try and make it a 3-wide battle for the top spot into the north turn for the final time. Who's going to make the right move in the draft? Enfinger goes up the racetrack to try and block. Will that leave an opening for the 38? He's going to have some help coming from the 75 of Kligerman. Can Enfinger block in time? Yes, he does. He throws the block on the 38 and closes the door. Gillen to second. Kligerman in third. Bayne back to fourth. Enfinger blocking for one last corner to try and take home the regular season point lead and perhaps one of the biggest wins of his career. A little bit of contact right there between the 38 and 98 trucks. Now a battle side by side as Enfinger comes off of the north turn. Enfinger sees the checkered flag and will win the inaugural Sunoco 160 from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. Gillen put up a valiant effort there at the end, getting within one truck length of the 98 truck of Enfinger, but how about that? Enfinger has now won his way into the regular season point lead as the 88 truck of Crafton finished down in 24th position. A remarkable drive by this number 98 team. They have put it all on the line going after that regular season championship, and they have flat out beaten all of their competition. And this was a stacked field. I mean, look at the 10th place finisher. That's Ryan Newman. Cup Series competitors bested by most of the Truck Series regulars. You have a Daytona 500 champion, Trevor Bayne, finishing in third position. But Grant Enfinger pulls off the victory here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, becoming the first winner at this facility since Paul Goldsmith. And by the way, this is the first win at the Daytona Beach and Road Course for Toyota as a manufacturer. Obviously, that wasn't really an option back when we used to run here. But a Toyota Tundra driven by Grant Enfinger out of Thorsport Racing up in Sandusky, Ohio, has taken home the victory in the Sunoco 160. And here's just another look at that final lap, final turn move by the 38 of Todd Gillen. He saw no opening down on the inside. He knew Enfinger wasn't going to give him that line. He actually does put the bumper to him just a little bit. Maybe not hard enough because it really didn't disrupt the 98 too much. He runs up into that loose sand. It works just a little bit like a cushion that you'd find a dirt track. Not quite. It's a little bit fluffier than that, but he still found some grip out of it because he managed to drive up alongside the 98. But the problem was he kind of backed up the corner a little bit too much because he got that run right about now. but he just quite couldn't get the power down soon enough, and he gets beaten out at the start-finish line by Grant Enfinger. Enfinger takes home the victory in the inaugural Sunoco 160 from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. What a return to this facility for NASCAR. What a show in front of this sold-out crowd of more than 100,000 fans, and also a fantastic debut for the first ever street circuit ran in Camping World Truck Series history. Also, fuel did in fact become a problem. We had quite a few trucks run out of gas on the final lap of the race, including Ty Majeski, Sam Mayer, and Dawson Cram. So fuel really was a problem, but the race leaders were able to save enough to make their way to the finish. You also see farther back, the 45 truck of TJ Bell was sputtering a little bit, but he managed to make it back under full power. And so Grant Enfinger has now done it. Enfinger is a winner at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, taking home the victory in the inaugural Sunoco 160 in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. But this also means that he has a victory at the Daytona Beach and Road Course as well as the Daytona International Speedway. Not too many drivers can say that they have wins at both those racetracks on their resume. Todd Gilliland comes home a close second-place finish. A great run for that number 38 team. They have had a bad season all year long. Finally getting those Fords running in tip-top condition. Great job by that 38 team, even knowing they did not score the victory. They still put up a fantastic effort. Trevor Bain, the 44 truck for Nice Motorsports, almost made it 2 in a row for Nice in that 44 team. Still brought home a great third-place finish. That's good money along with it, too. That carries a team quite a bit. You wouldn't expect that 44 truck to be the strongest so far of this year out of Nice Motorsports, being their part-time, technically secondary part-time truck, because the 45 is like their primary part-time truck. But still, the 44 has definitely showed up to be the strongest team out at Nice Motorsports in the last few weeks. Stuart Friesen unfortunately had his string of victories on non-asphalt and concrete racetracks broken, but at least he still holds the market over dirt racing. Couldn't quite pull it off on sand, but he still comes home in 4th position. Parker Kligerman put up a great effort all race long, finishes in 5th spot with a stage victory as well. Ben Rhodes finished in 6th position, which is again going to be very critical in the points standings. Ty Gibbs finished in 7th spot in the 18 truck. Max McLaughlin brought the 61 truck home in 8th position for Hattori Racing Enterprises. Christian Eckes in 9th spot for Starcom Speed Station, and Ryan Newman rounds out your top 10 in the number 39 truck, the highest finishing Cup Series competitor, as Chase Briscoe and Kyle Larson were almost silent all day long. Other notable finishers include Tate Fogelman bringing home a 13th place finish, John Hunter Nemechek rebounding to 14th spot, Haley Deegan getting a 17th place finish, Tony Breidinger in 19th, Sheldon Creed in 20th position, he's one of the regular season point contenders, and Matt Crafton finishes all the way down in 24th position. That is a very abnormal race for him. You do have to admit that this racetrack's a bit of a wild card because, you know, it's the beach and road course. You're running on sand, and it's such a unique style of racetrack that I guess it doesn't play into Matt Crafton's wheelhouse, so I'll give him that. But still, it's going to hurt Matt Crafton in his quest for that regular season championship, coming to its conclusion in the next race at the Daytona International Speedway. Daniel Hemrick brought the 51 truck home for KBM in 25th position, and finally Chase Briscoe finished in 26th spot in the number 53 truck. And so now take a look at your regular season point standings. We had a lead change, and now the top 4 are even closer. Grant Enfinger takes over the point lead off of his teammate Matt Crafton with the victory here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. He holds the point gap by just 12 points coming into the final race of the regular season at Daytona International Speedway. Ben Rhodes also picked up 1 spot in point standings, making it a Thor Sport top 3, and right now Rhodes sets 25 points out of the point lead. Sheldon Creed dropped down to 4th in regular season point standings. He is 30 points on the outside looking in. Coming in to the final race of the regular season, the Coca-Cola 250 from Daytona, we have a championship for the regular season championship. 2 likely contenders, those being Enfinger and Crafton, because it could really go either way with those two, but Ben Rhodes and Sheldon Creed are certainly long shot contenders. It's a championship 4 that has been established through a regular season points format as well. This is not through eliminations or anything like that. Just the math has ended up with us having 4 drivers within mathematical contention for this regular season championship in the final race of the regular season. And considering that it's going to be the 2.5-mile banked super speedway at Daytona, really anyone could pull off a victory in that one, and anything could happen. So any of these 4 championship contenders could get wound up in some type of trouble and end up getting it stolen away from them. Parker Kligerman with his top 5 finish here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course picks up 2 spots in points up to 5th. He is 63 points outside the point lead. That is outside of mathematical contention to win the regular season championship. However, he could claim 5th place in regular season points. That is a huge deal coming into the playoffs. Ty Gibbs picked up 2 spots as well. He is now in 6th position in regular season points. He is 67 points back from point leader Enfinger. Also 67 points back is Ty Dillon. But Dillon loses the tiebreaker to Gibbs because Gibbs has a win on the season, and Ty Dillon, shockingly, has still gone winless. Timothy Peters lost 2 spots in points here at Daytona, down to 8th position. He is 76 points on the outside looking in. Christian Eckes stays 9th in regular season points. He is 87 points outside the point lead, and Casey Mears picked up 1 spot in regular season points up to 10th with Brett Holmes' DNQ, and Mears now sets 118 points out of the point lead. Once again, we had a repeat winner, so what that means is there is going to be 2 spots up for grabs at Daytona through points alone. It will not come down to just, winners and then a fight among all those who have 1 win on the season through points. It's not going to turn into that. 2 spots are going to be at least done through points alone. So right now, Enfinger, Crafton, Rhodes, Eckes, Austin Hill, Stuart Friesen, Sheldon Creed, Ty Gibbs, Timothy Peters, Casey Mears, Ryan Truex, Dawson Cram, and Brennan Poole are all locked into the playoffs via their wins so far this season. Parker Kligerman, after getting a top 5 finish here at Daytona, continuing that great string of races he's had with Henderson Motorsports, he now sets 80 points above the cutoff line. That is almost 2 races worth of points. He's pretty much a lock for the playoffs right now. Similar situation with Ty Dillon. He is 76 points above the cutoff line. That's a huge margin. So it looks like Kligerman and Dillon are locks for the playoffs. But the real battle comes down to either points or whether or not we get a new winner. Because obviously if somebody outside of this list wins, it's going to really jumble up the running order. But Brett Holmes, after his DNQ, only lost 1 point to his competition. Because Ty Majeski ran out of gas in the final 2 laps of the race and Austin Terrio had those electrical problems, they gained almost nothing on Brett Holmes. This is the 2nd time Holmes has gotten that lucky after DNQing a race. So Holmes misses the race in its entirety and loses only 1 point to the cutoff line. He is still 20 points above, and that's pretty safe unless he gets wound up in trouble at Daytona or if we get a new winner at Daytona International Speedway. Then on the outside looking in, we have Ty Majeski, who sets 20 points outside of the top 16. Austin Terrio actually lost 9 points with his electrical problems here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. He now sets 30 points on the outside looking in, and then we get into must-win territory. John Hunter Nemechek, 56 points out of making the playoffs, and Todd Gilliland with his 2nd place finish here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course. He is now 59 points on the outside looking in, still in must-win territory, but he did surpass Zane Smith in point standings. And so folks, that does it for our telecast of the Sunoco 160 from the Daytona Beach and Road Course. We hope that you have all enjoyed it. NASCAR's return to this famed facility, and also the return to street circuit racing in NASCAR's national divisions. The next time you'll be seeing us will be on Post Tech, where we cover the Coca-Cola 250 from the Daytona International Speedway. We go about 20 miles inland to cover that event, the final race of the regular season in the Camping World Truck Series, where we now have a championship for the regular season title. It was done through regular season points, not through any type of playoff system. Just the math has led to it being this close of a battle. And so now we congratulate Grant Enfinger and Thor Sport Racing on the victory here at the Daytona Beach and Road Course, taking over the regular season point lead with now just 1 race remaining.